Hello everybody, this is me, Jayvardy, and this is my first video in quite a long time. I haven't been doing many videos lately, and not much more to say really about that, but tonight I did watch WSU Breaking Barriers 2. This was my first ever WSU show. It was a good show. I enjoyed it. Obviously it wasn't perfect, but I'm not going to do this show like a WWE review. I'm not going to talk about the negatives because they are an indie promotion. They did the best they can, and there wasn't a lot of issues I had, but the issues I did have, really, they couldn't really do much about it. So I'm not going to really get into the issues. I'm just going to talk about the positives and go through the matches. You know what? Some of these women in this show I know of and I've seen before. Some of them I'm just seeing for the first time, and a lot of them impressed me. I don't want to talk about the WWE too much, but every single woman on this show except from everybody. I was gonna say maybe a couple from the NYWC Starlet Championship match, but actually, it was everybody on this show was better than Kelly, so that's a good thing. But yeah, let's go into this. The first match of the night was a WSU Tag Team Championship match. The Boston Shore, Amber and Lexxus versus the International Home Wrecking Crew, Rain and Jeddah. My stream actually cut out during this. I did buy it on GoFight. Apparently they're giving us a free replay, so I did miss, I watched the first 3/4 of the match probably, and then it cut out. By the time it came back on, they were getting ready for the second match, so unfortunately I did miss it. But apparently the Boston Shore won. They retained the tag titles from what I hear on Twitter. But the match was going good. I was enjoying it before it did cut out. I'm not going to give it a star rating because I did miss the ending, but it was a good match, and I was enjoying it for what it was. The next match I saw was a Loser Leaves WSU match, Jennifer Cruz versus Nia. Now this is a match where I'm new to both of these women. I haven't seen either of them compete before, and from what I saw of them, I enjoyed them. They were having some nice, they were doing some nice chains, some nice holds. Nia actually belly-to-belly suplex Jennifer Cruz, and Jennifer Cruz is a pretty big girl, so to see that was pretty good. You don't see things like that in the WWE with divas like Kelly, so definitely impressed me. Both of the girls were doing good. The crowd didn't seem to care too much for Cruz, but they were really into Nia. Who lost, unfortunately. This is my first time watching her wrestle, but I became a fan pretty much instantly. She had charisma, she was good in the ring, the crowd liked her, she had energy, whatever. She did lose, but I did enjoy the match quite a bit, so, there you go. I'm going to give it 2.5 stars. It was a pretty good match. Then, Jennifer Cruz was kind of cutting a promo saying that the fans should thank her for getting rid of Nia, and then April Hunter came out, and you see the production values of the show, and you just see the environment as it is, and then you see April Hunter come out, and she stands out. There's a few women that came out and they stood out. One of them was April Hunter. She is a star. She said that after, she came out and she challenged Jennifer Cruz to a match, and April Hunter did win. But then April Hunter cut a promo saying that she wants to become WSU World Champion. I think she could easily do it. I mean, the moment she walked out of that curtain, you see, she was a star. And I've heard of and seen of April Hunter before, so she's definitely a star. She's definitely in a league of her own. So WSU treat her right because, she is a star. And her match with Jennifer Cruz wasn't too bad either. She German suplexed Jennifer Cruz, and she won the match by submission. So, and actually, there's a lot of good submission holds on this pay-per-view, actually, surprisingly. Or not surprisingly, but it was kind of the theme, submissions tonight. Then we had a fatal 4-way NYWC match. Nikki Sixx, Violet, Gabby Gilbert, and was it Monique? I'm reading the list of the matches off here, off some site. I guess it was supposed to be a 6-way match, but there was only 4 girls in it. The champion won. I was new to all the girls in this match, and this was probably the worst match on the card. It was entertaining because these were character girls. They seem to be playing characters, and the champion is like kind of reminded me of a Kevin Thorne type character, a female version of Kevin Thorne from the WWE, but she retained her title in NYWC's home building, so good for her. It was a decent match. It was probably the worst match of the night, but it wasn't too terrible, so I give it 2 stars. I enjoyed it. Okay, then we had number 1 contenders for the WSU Tag Team Championships, the Bell Saints versus the Soul Sisters. And the Bell Saints came out and they got a pretty huge pop, and it seemed like they were the faces of the match. But apparently there's some backstory, there's some history between those 2 partners. But this match was going very well, and then about halfway through the match, they started developing an attitude towards each other, and I guess some of their history came and popped back up until the point where at the end of the match they were going against each other. But the Bell Saints did lose to the Soul Sisters in what was a pretty good match. It was an athletic match. It was good moves, good power moves, good chain wrestling, good submission holds. No complaints about the match. I was kind of disappointed when they went down the route of the Bell Saints not getting along, because to me that was an instant spoiler that the Soul Sisters were going to win. When you watch wrestling for as long as I have, you start to notice little things that when something happens in a match, that person's either going to win or lose. So when they did start going against each other, I knew they were going to end up losing the match and something was going to happen after the match. So it was kind of predictable. Other than that, it was a pretty good match. But apparently they're going to be wrestling at the next show in March because they came out later and cut another promo. Tina San Antonio came out and cut a promo on Marty Bell later in the show. So, and they did show video packages of these 2 and stuff. So, it seems like there's a good feud here, and it's been going on for a while. So I guess it's understandable that they went that route. It just kind of spoiled the match for me a bit. But I did enjoy the match. I'll give it 2 3/4 stars. It was pretty good. And then we got Becky Bayless, her return to WSU. This is Cookie from TNA, but known as Becky Bayless in the Independents, versus the boy diva Rick Cataldo, who is kind of like whatever. He's a guy with a female a gay gimmick, I guess. Not the first gimmick like this in wrestling, but he was pretty entertaining. On the mic, he did seem like he had legitimate beef with Becky Bayless, who came out and the crowd, they popped for her and they were chanting her name, but then they started saying, I can't remember what they were saying, but they were bashing Cookie all of a sudden, and then she yelled, "Well, it's a good thing my name is Becky Bayless." And I don't know, it was kind of funny. It seemed like the crowd didn't know if they wanted to cheer for her or go against her, but they went out and had a good match. Becky Bayless won, of course. I would say this was probably the most entertaining match, because of Rick Cataldo and Becky Bayless, and it looked like their legitimate hatred towards each other. But it wasn't the best match tonight, but it's probably the most entertaining match in my opinion. But it was a good match, 2 3/4 star match. I enjoyed it. The standout moments of the night were, for me, now that I'm thinking about it, was Naya, who I've never seen before, but she won me over, and apparently she's gone from WSU now. I really enjoyed her match. April Hunter is a legitimate star, legitimate money maker. I love April Hunter. She stole the show when she was there. And of course Melina, which is the main reason why I watched this pay-per-view. I did watch this pay-per-view for Melina. Melina is my favorite wrestler. Has been for years and years. My favorite female wrestler of all time. and I watched this pay-per-view just to see her. And when she came out during her entrance, which was so epic, and then she came out, she got a huge pop, and she did her splits, her entrance. She looked like she was in great shape. Great shape. I mean, and I talked about how much of a star April Hunter was when she came out. Melina was that times like 10. Melina is definitely in a league of her own, and she really did prove that she is, if she isn't the best in the world, she is one of the best in the world. The mystery opponent turned out to be Lexxus. It was supposed to be Melina versus Serena, which I really wanted to see really badly, but unfortunately Serena did get injured. But I think Lexxus was the right person to replace Serena, in my opinion. It was scaring me because I thought Amy Lee was going to announce herself as Melina's opponent. Thank God that didn't happen. But Melina, she came out, she looked like a star, she got a pop like a star, and her match was excellent. She's been out of action for well over 3 months now. To come out, to look like to be in that great shape as she is, still look like the star that she always has been, and to come out and have a good match with someone who already wrestled earlier in the night, proves how good both, not just Melina, but Lexxus as well. Kudos to her, my hat's off to her, she did well. Melina did well as well. Lexxus already had a match earlier in the night. Melina hasn't wrestled for 3 months. This is the first time these two have ever wrestled against each other, and yet the crowd was into this match more than any other match on the night, with the "Let's go Melina, let's go Lexxus" chants, kind of like "Let's go Cena, let's go Orton," but it was "Let's go Melina, let's go Lexxus," which was awesome to see. I'm sure both girls felt really good about that. It was back and forth. There was high impact moves, there was athleticism, and their chemistry was pretty good. I'm sure Melina, when she signed up for this, it was expecting to face Serena, but all things considering, Melina and Lexxus put on a hell of a show. I wish they got a little bit more time, but Lexxus was probably tired, and I know she's wrestled a 73-minute match before. I mean, they said that enough during the show tonight, but Lexxus was probably a bit tired, and to go out there with that kind of pressure to face the star, the attraction of the evening, it was a big match for both girls. But Melina won. She won with the Primal Scream split-legged leg drop. It was a good match. Melina kicked out of Lexxus's finishing move, which the announcer went crazy during. The announcing was pretty good. I actually enjoyed the two announcers tonight. But Melina and Lexxus, definitely the best match of the night, in my opinion. The crowd was certainly more into this match than anything. And, I would like to see them actually wrestle again somewhere down the road, because I think they could have an even better match. When they know that they're facing each other, when they have time to prep for it, and when Melina is, when she gets back into ring shape, she's going to be even better. But, she was great tonight. But, I think if these two had another match, I think it would be even better. But I do want to see Melina versus Serena somewhere down the road. But this match was a good 3 3/4 star match. I wish they had a bit more time, but what can you do? It was a good match. I really enjoyed it, and it was definitely worth the wait. When Melina announced that she was going to be wrestling on November 19th, I've been waiting ever since. And I really wanted to buy the show and watch her, and it didn't disappoint. I'm not going through a great time in my personal life right now, and I'm not really watching the WWE. And wrestling is a thing. It's one of those things that you can escape. You can escape your personal life and get into the show and just forget about everything while you watch it. And I was able to do that tonight when I saw, some of these women for the first time, and I got to see my favorite wrestler come back out. And have that as good of a match as she did. So it did provide me some escapism for me tonight, and I enjoyed it a lot. So I want to congratulate Melina on her match, on her return, on her WSU debut. I don't know what Melina's plans are for her career. I don't know if she's going to continue wrestling for WSU, if she's going to wrestle somewhere else, or, I don't know how much Melina's going to be wrestling, period, to be honest, guys. But as a fan of hers, I would love to see her in TNA. Nothing against WSU, but Melina is definitely in a league of her own, and she is definitely bigger than WSU. I think she deserves to go into TNA. I think she deserves a chance to be in TNA, and I'd love to see it. I'd love to see it happen. But if that happens, it'll be somewhere down the road. That's another discussion for another day. But yeah, good 3 3/4 star match. I'd love to see them have a rematch. Still want to see Melina versus Serena. So, whether it's WSU or whether it's TNA, I do want to see those two matches again. Melina versus Lexxus rematch, or Melina versus Serena, the actual match. So there you go. War Games. My first ever War Games. My first ever women's War Games. The first ever women's War Games. They took forever to set up, but whatever. They got it set up eventually, and it was all over the place. The camera angles weren't that great, unfortunately. But there was some high impact moves here, and I saw some cage spots in that matches that I'd never seen before. This was a women's match. Women can do things that men can't do in the ring, and they're not necessarily better things, but certainly more athletic things and more acrobatic things at times. Someone's gonna leave a hate comment about that, but it is true. No matter what anyone says. So saying that, there was some spots in this match that I've never seen before, and I think only women would be able to perform some of those spots. So it was a good match to see. This was a full-out brawl. The Midwest Militia versus Team WSU, legitimate hatred here. This is a real feud with real time put into it. Very well done by an independent promotion. The Midwest Militia really earned my respect tonight. I am now a big fan of Jessica Havoc, and I do hope she beats Mercedes Martinez for the WSU championship, because Jessica Havoc won me over tonight. But basically, the Midwest Militia was able to win by handcuffing everybody, including Amy Lee, everybody to the cage except for Mercedes Martinez. They beat the hell out of Mercedes Martinez, and Jessica Havoc actually grabbed a machete, held it to Mercedes' neck, and threatened to kill her, and Mercedes still didn't quit. And then she was going to stab her in her stomach, and then Alicia and Brittany Savage both were screaming, "I quit." So the Midwest Militia did win tonight, which I said on Twitter that I thought they were going to, or I didn't say I thought they were going to. I said, "Let's go Midwest Militia," because I did want to see them win. Because when I saw the video packages of the feud, I was thinking I'd love to see these heels win it. And they did. The Midwest Militia won, and like I said, they earned my respect. I think taking the guys taking so long to set up the match definitely took the momentum away. I mean, and this is where being a small independent promotion kind of killed it a bit. If they were able to go right from Melina and Lexxus into the War Games match, it would have probably been better. But the time to take to set up, which isn't their fault, did take a little bit of momentum away from me. But I did enjoy the match. I'm gonna say it was just as good as Melina and Lexxus had 3 3/4. The War Games was a bit all over the place, but it was War Games. It was a nice brawl, and there was some good spots I've never seen before, so I enjoyed it. I just want to say April Hunter and Melina are definitely in a league of their own, and are definitely huge stars. So I want to say that Melina did excellent tonight, and she did not disappoint. Naya won me over. Marty Bell, I enjoyed her work tonight. Jessica Havoc in the Midwest Militia won me over. And overall, WSU won me over. It wasn't a perfect show, but I definitely would come back for a second one. This is my first WSU show. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I am a big fan of women's wrestling, and tonight was a good night of women's wrestling. I'm going to take my hat off and say, it was a good show. Definitely am willing to check them out again, and, can't wait to see what Melina does next. So, I'd give it a 7.5 out of 10. Definitely want to come back and check it out again. Like I said, can't wait to see what Melina does next. So this is Jay Vardy. Thank you for watching this video. Good job WSU. Good job Melina. I am out.